Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddler. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
Mr. Magazine.
Yes.
What motivates you?
Ooh. Lots of, all right. Having a successful business, money, a nice car, supporting my family, lots of things.
Okay. Thank you. Hit the like button. We'll see you next video.
Bye-bye.
Now, the reason I brought that up is because I'm not certain if you're aware of this or not,
Okay.
but shortly, I'll be retiring.
Wow, no.
I know, it's
crazy,
taking
yeah.
everybody by surprise, kind of
Wow.
blindsiding everybody. And the question I have is, what's my motivation going to be in retirement as far as my business goes?
Enjoyment.
As far as my business goes.
You have to enjoy your
Okay.
business, yeah.
Okay.
Because you, not that you don't need the money, but
Well, and that's kind of where I was leading
You're
at, yeah.
retired.
I have a pension.
Right, you
I'm
have a
lucky I have a
yeah.
pension.
I'm sure you got a 401k, all that jazz, so you should be comfortable. You're a smart guy. Hopefully you put a few pennies away. So you're not as pressured to make the almighty buck. You know, you'd like it.
Yeah.
Don't need it as much as you needed it before. So yeah, you want to be, retired, you're getting older. You want to be happy with what you're doing, or why do it all at this stage of your life?
Wow.
Oh, I feel like retiring now. Wow, it sounds like fun. Jeez.
And that actually is a very, very uplifting speech you just gave there as well. And that was what I wanted to ask, is because I think I started the eBay business in 2002. I started helping you in before 98, probably 96 or something like that. I started helping you.
Yeah.
And 27 years I'll never get back. And
You and me both.
wow.
Yeah.
But I've worked, for a while, up from 40 hours to 50 hours to 60 hours to 70 hours to 80 hours to 90 hours, all the way up to 100 hours a week. And I know you're not that far behind me on that over there. And I would say probably at this point we're both working 80 to 90 hours a week, I would guess, is probably where we are. And if you do that year after year after year, again, hopefully you're not living hand to mouth at the end of that, or you've either, and no disrespect to anybody, but if you've worked 100 hours for 20 years in a row and you're still living hand to mouth, you may have a spending problem.
It's something right. Something's definitely wrong, yeah.
Or you're not using your time wisely. Might be another way to put it as well. Because just that many hours, I mean, you've heard the expression about the 10,000 hours. In order to become an expert at something, you need to be 10,000 hours. Yeah. If you're working 100 hours a week, you're at what do you
at least a couple of years.
Yeah, a couple of years, and suddenly you're an expert at what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it for 20, 25 years, well, hopefully you learn something. If you haven't learned something in 20, 25 years of those kind of hours, you've definitely done something wrong. Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of what I was wondering, though, is what will be my motivation in retirement? Because as you said, it's yes, the money's nice, and we can always use more of it. There's nobody out there that doesn't need a little more money.
Sure.
And certainly I'm not like Howard Hughes or Warren Buffett or any of those people. They're still out there chasing the money, but I think they get the enjoyment out of it at this point. And whether Warren Buffett makes $1 million in a deal.
You've seen Howard Hughes lately? I haven't, but what do I know?
I don't think you saw him when he was around either. So
true. Yeah.
But no, whether Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, those guys, whether they make $1 million on this deal today or they don't make it on a deal, doesn't really matter.
Right.
Truly does not matter in the grand
still
scheme of
going at it.
things.
They got enough money they can't spend it in their lifetime unless they gave it all away. So, again.
But they're still after it for whatever reason because it gives them enjoyment.
Or they want to be number one. Maybe Warren Buffett wants to be ahead of Musk, and they want to be Bezos and so forth. Yeah.
So that's what motivates them. Yeah. So I do like your answer though, because again, after I retire, at this point with the day job, there's a certain number of hours that I have to work because of the day job, and there's a certain number of hours that I have to work with eBay / Amazon / just to maintain.
Right.
In other words, you got to answer emails, you got to accept offers, you got to pack things up, you got to list a little something just to clean stuff up. So let's just say that's 15 hours a week just to maintain. you're not really making any progress. You're just staying right where you are. Well, that's still 15 hours a week that you have to be spending on that.
Yeah.
Add in the day job, 40 hours a week. Suddenly you're at 55 right there. Well, all of a sudden, I've got 40 extra hours every single week.
Yeah. One thing you do is change your
sleeping patterns.
I was just gonna say that. Maybe give it a few, get up a few hours later, and maybe sometimes you can stay up on the weekends and hang out with your friends. Sometimes, I don't know. It's just a thought.
Yeah, I'll be getting up even earlier. No, but that is a very, very good synopsis that you gave there. So yeah, your motivation.
I guess that's how I feel like what I would want it to be when I'm in your shoes. Hopefully in 5 to 7 years.
Well, and the motivation obviously changes as time goes on. At one point, I remember I wanted to get to 10,000 listings. And then I wanted to do this, and I wanted my sales to hit this, and I wanted this, and I wanted that. At this point, I'm fairly happy just maintaining where I'm at as far as eBay and all that goes. I've got 21,000 and change listings. Do I really care if I get to 30,000? Do I really care if I get to 40,000?
Right.
Not really.
Yeah.
That's not a very good motivation for me. Could I do it? Sure. Especially in retirement. Sure, I could.
Yeah.
But then the question comes in, to what end?
Right.
Okay, I'm sitting here, and
you could have been there really if you didn't do whatnot. If you think about it.
Well, I don't know if I could get to 40 or 50,000.
Definitely a big improvement, but yeah.
Yeah. But the other side of that comes in. Okay, I retire. I've got 40 extra hours a week. I dedicate all 40 hours to listing stuff on eBay.
I don't recommend it to anybody.
No, but my other thought is, to what end?
Right.
All of a sudden, okay, every day I'm picking up an extra 100 items listed, so I pick up 700 items a week.
Right.
Yeah, great. My store is growing. Why?
Well, if it's selling more as you're growing more, that's one thing. That's not happening with a lot of people right now. So you may want to put 5 or 10 hours into eBay, 5 or 10 hours into Etsy, 20 hours into whatnot, whatever works,
right,
whatever you like,
Yep.
One of those motivational things could be followers and whatnot, subscribers, whatever, and growing, those customers there. So.
Yeah, so it's kind of an interesting thing, and again, your motivation changes. Obviously, when you're young and you've got no money at all in your pockets, the money is a lot more important to you. And the other problem with that is sometimes you would take, not that we don't do it now also, but we were much more likely to take lower offers because we needed the cash flow. And I know this is worth $50 and the guy's offering me 20, but I need the $20. I paid $1 for it. I need the $20. I got to move it. Now it's kind of no, I can hold on to it. $20 and no disrespect meant to anybody out there who's struggling. $20 minus fees, and I have free shipping. So the $12 that I end up in my pocket, or less shipping supplies, the $12.50 I would put in my pocket is not going to radically change my life. It's not. So something? I think I'd rather hang on to it and get $35 out of it, so I can put $25 in my pocket in that case as well.
Unless you're selling 100 of those types of items daily,
right?
Then
different
the $12
story.
adds up.
Right, different story completely. So I kind of just wondering what motivates you and how it's changed throughout the years. As I said, the money obviously was much more important when I was younger. And then I did have ideas and goals to hit X number of listings, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure I'm sure you never really even thought about having a warehouse, and now you have the warehouse, which is great. But I guess the other side of it is, would you have any interest, Mr. Magazine, in having 3 retail stores and 4 warehouses?
No.
Okay.
Not at this stage in my life.
Exactly. And that's kind of the other point, too.
If the last 10 years, if the growth of my last 10 years happened 20 years ago, then I would consider doing something like that 10 years ago. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was kind of my point as well. Are there people who turn 60 and suddenly start an endeavor and build a big business out of it? Yes, of course there are. But the other side of that comes in, would I want to open up a retail store and then end up with a whole chain of retail stores across upstate New York? Yeah, exactly.
Well, we just discussed the building that I'm considering purchasing, which has 2 retail stores, a lot of storage. But do I want to add all that into my life right now? So, the cost has to be super low to compensate. Maybe I don't want to have a store now, but I can use it as a warehouse. So if the price is low, the real estate is an investment, I guess, so to speak, because in 10 or 20 years, maybe I'll make some money off it. Who knows? But something to think about. I got to weigh up the pros and cons.
Well, and I think the other thing is you're 25 years old and you can get into that and break even on the store. But you're building it up for the future.
Right.
Well, at this point, the building it up for the future is kind of, there's not as much of a future. Not to get grim, but there's not as much of a future.
Right.
So,
well, especially if I want to return 5-7 years, why would I even consider that? If it's something that I want to, grow as part of my whole company and sell it all in 7 years, maybe I can build it up by then. I don't know. Maybe it's a 10-year plan. Who knows? If I tackle it. So.
Right. Yeah. So, kind of interesting. Do comment down below on what motivates you. And another thing that motivates us, Mr. Magazine, is getting likes, hitting the like button.
Of course, yeah.
So if you do that, we would definitely appreciate it. And we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.